just to give you a little just to give you a little info about the Partner Connection Days, it was once referred to as Demo Days, but we changed it up a little so we could have more interactive connection and partnering with our corporate members. And since not all of our corporate members have traditional products or services to demonstrate, we're opening the doors wider for creative informational sessions that our members can take part of. So feel free to jump in and ask questions if you have questions about what they're talking about. If you were with us yesterday, we had three great sessions yesterday as well, and today we have three more. These will all be available on our new website next week. Right now we have Mike and Richie to talk more about StarRez. When I asked for an interesting tidbit, we heard that StarRez brings it all together for events, allowing streamlining your events from inquiry all the way to execution. I think that's something we can all get behind. Can't wait to hear more. So before you get started on your presentation, if you guys want to tell a little bit about yourself and go from there, we'd love to hear.
Great. Well, thank you for that intro. My name's Richie Kenney. I'm product manager here with StarRez, focusing on our conference and events module. Prior to joining StarRez, many of you know me from my time with ACCED-I, where I was a member and got my CCEP and worked with, let's see, an institution for about 10 years, developing up our conference program there. So, Mike.
Hi all, I'm Mike Verkerk. I've been in the ACED-I community for close to 20 years. I was originally a part of the Seattle Technology group team, the makers of Iris, and we joined the StarRez family just about a year ago. In 2 weeks, I think it's going to be a year. And so I've now moved over to be an AI and automation lead in customer ops, but continuing to work with Richie and the rest of the StarRez team to kind of cross-pollinate some of the Iris conferences and events knowledge and product knowledge to make the best platform out there that we can to serve you. And fun fact, Richie and I used to work together when he was a client of ours. And so lots of time on the phone with him, chatting conferences and events before we worked together again here at StarRez.
Great. So, okay. So now that we have shared our screen and we've shared a little bit about who we are, what we want to do today is talk a little bit about the life cycle of conference and events, and talk to you about StarRez through a little bit of a storytelling method. So I will let Mike take over from there.
And so, although we've just finished summer, we're going to revisit a little bit. So, summer conferences and events are always a whirlwind for us. We're juggling late student move-outs, capital and minor facilities projects, tight turnaround times, incoming conference groups, last-minute changes, and the ongoing challenge of maximizing our occupancy without overcommitting space or staff. Today, we'll dive into some of the key pain points institutions face when managing summer operations, from playing human Tetris for housing space planning to communicating meeting space usage and setups, organizing dining and catering, and on top of all of this, having the time to find new business. With growing expectations to increase revenue and maximize space utilization on campus, managing all of the moving pieces in spreadsheets or disconnected systems quickly becomes overwhelming, inefficient, and error prone.
As Mike mentioned, some of the problems we face throughout the conference life cycle tend to be around desperate systems, last minute requests, last minute asks. Well, within StarRez, we really provide that opportunity to share information across all of your teams. We'll talk about this a little bit more in a little bit, but what we aim to do is really provide our customers that full life cycle of events from the initial inquiry, whether that come in through the phone, via email, or our inquiry process. We really want you to be able to take that event and run the full life cycle through StarRez so that all that information lives in one space, making communications that much easier. You have one source of truth, whether it's your housing, your dining, your function rooms, your classrooms, your multi-purpose rooms, all of that we know plays into a one-stop shop. And earlier this year, StarRez worked with a company to get quotes from our customers on how they find StarRez for conference and events. Now, we weren't involved in these interviews, so I wasn't there prodding them to get this feedback. But from one of our customers that works in a conference services team, so more than just overnight housing, they said pre-StarRez, there was less flexibility in how buildings were used, which could leave some without available space, while others were underutilized. With the occupancy graph, we can now look at using the buildings in more ways and using more of the room inventory for the summer season. Now, we talk about a couple pieces here. We have our occupancy graph, which allows users to visualize all the room spaces across their campus. This in particular is talking about beds. However, we also have our conference planner tool, which allows you to visualize all of your meeting spaces, classrooms, multi-purpose rooms, lobbies, anything that you want to track a reservation against within StarRez. So you can really see what's happening across your entire campus, whether it's during the day or overnight with those campers staying on your campus. And facility teams love this as well because they can go in and close off entire buildings with single clicks, making it much easier for you all as a conference team to see what you can and can't use for space. So that human Tetris Mike mentioned, we solve this not only visually, but efficiently, and we continue to provide our resources as a development team and a product team to help solve the problems that you all face on a daily basis.
And in terms of our occupancy graph and what happens to us is we have groups that overlap dates that we can't put into the same building. We have internal and external groups that we can't mix. We have adult and youth that we can't mix. We have program directors with multiple programs and they want all of our groups in the same building. And then we've got our risk management factors like genders, age ranges, chaperone ratios. All of these are impacting how we can actually block physical space. And so that occupancy graph is giving us the top-down view of everything. And when we're trying to add one more incremental group, it gets progressively harder because we need to fit them in amongst all of the other groups. And this occupancy graph gives us the opportunity to move those groups around, play the human Tetris, make sure that housekeeping has the correct amount of term time, and get those final groups in across the line to boost our revenue that extra little bit. So next place that we're heading to is housekeeping. So the overlap between the academic year and early summer conference season is always incredibly tight. Students are moving out. Sometimes they're staying late due to finals or special circumstances. And at the same time, our first summer conference guests are arriving or preparing to check in. We need to know who has left and when those rooms will be occupied for summer conferences to prioritize our limited housekeeping resources and the deep cleaning that we have to do to prep for summer. In some cases, we even need to temporarily move people to other transition rooms, and that just doubles the amount of work that we have to do from a housekeeping perspective. We face this same situation as we transition back to academic year when we have early arrivals for academic programs and sports teams that are cutting into our available conference space. when academic year and summer are managed in different systems, this becomes an Excel mega project that requires constant updating. To plan effectively, we need visibility into the conferences and the housing operations through a single pane of glass. And this is where a year-round platform like StarRez really shines, helping us track move-out timelines, turnover readiness, and coordinate across departments with real-time data. The smoother that we can make this transition window, the better our chances of starting and ending summer season strong and getting a few more of those incremental groups in shoulder season.
And as Mike mentioned, we really focus on the full team cycle here. So it's not just conference and events, but our housekeeping teams need this information as well. And we have a brand new housekeeping tool that is part of our core functionality now, where you can set up any type of service and any task that needs to happen within that service. So our conference teams may have the need to turn over from the academic year into summer, and the housekeeping team wants to do that deep clean. You can have a list of all of those items that need to be completed as part of that deep clean and have your housekeeping staff check them off within the system. Now, we know that sometimes those boots on the ground housekeeping team members might be a little technologically adverse. And so what you can do is have the manager run around with them, updating information in real time. The key with all of this is that you are getting a live view with the same information that the housekeeping manager, facilities manager, whoever is in charge of maintaining and keeping you updated on which rooms are turned over and ready to go. You have that live information. So when that student shows up or that camper shows up a little bit early, hotel times are always check in at 2 p.m., 3 p.m., but we like to push that, right? So when you show up at noon, the question is the room ready? Well, using our housekeeping functionality, you can actually look that up based on the student's information and see whether or not that room is ready for that student to move in. That way you don't have to tell them, come back at 2 o'clock, right? Again, this real-time information really helps streamline and make all of the teams and communication across those teams much more efficient and streamlined. Now, it's not just overnight accommodations that we have to worry about with housekeeping. We also have function rooms that need to get turned over. Using the same functionality, you're able to mark a function room as needing to be cleaned. And again, you can set those services so that a function room can have a different set of tasks that need to be completed. So you're not fitting a square peg in a round hole, if you will. You can really set up these services and the tasks to accomplish exactly what you need as a customer. We know, again, everything's just a little bit different depending on the department, the unit, the institution, on how things need to get accomplished. So we give you that flexibility that you can build those items out. This is really exciting. Again, being a former conference director myself, this is one of those things I think I asked Mike about 20-something years ago, where we were trying to solve this. And now here with StarRez, we're able to solve this and give you all the ability to take advantage of that.
I think one of the other interesting pieces that gives us at the end of a summer conference season is all of the data and what that data means to us in terms of housekeeping turn times, and if we had faster ability to turn, what that might that mean for future years and being able to fit more groups into that limited space.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Mike, and I'm glad you made it, because we all like to go at the end of the summer at the end of the season and reference that data and see what exactly did we accomplish, not just from a revenue perspective, but sometimes we have to track how many times a certain room was turned over, so that you can manage. Maybe we're using this floor too often, and we need to rotate that out and use a different facility for the next season. Now, using the housekeeping functionality, you are able to pull that information down very easily, run your analysis, and give that to facilities and have a educated conversation around which floors, which spaces, which buildings should be used for the next season. Now, we are running a industry survey at this point. It is open for one more week, and today is September 24th, so you're watching this online after. We do close the survey on September 30th, 2025. It should only take about 10 to 15 minutes of your time. And what we are asking is that all ACED-I member institutions submit their responses for this survey. You don't have to be a StarRez customer to submit your response. We want your feedback. We want to know what the hot topics are. We want to know what's going on your campuses, at your institutions, and really your voice helps us drive the next set of innovation that we are going to be working on. Now, if you've already provided your response, awesome. If you haven't just yet, you can go ahead and enter to win an iPad. And if you join us at our Conference Connect session, that's happening on November 12th and 13th, we're going to be going into the data from the responses of this report, and you'll get a sneak peek as to what the industry is saying. Now, as we start to wrap up here, before we go into questions, we love talking to our customers. Even if you are not a customer and just want to talk, we enjoy that as well. But if you have any questions about what StarRez Conference and Events can do for you, you can always email salesquestions@starrez.com. If you're an existing customer, definitely connect with your account manager. And if you have any feature requests, want to participate in product research, or again, just want to talk, you can email me at rkenny@starrez.com. Oops. And with that, I think we can open it for questions. We don't bite. All right. Maybe we did such a great job. Nobody has any questions.
Can't be better than that.
Thanks for doing this, Mike and Richie. It's great to see you. We will have questions soon as we transition over I think my biggest concern from before when we were thinking about it, and we know that it's going to happen at some point, is just the more of the, and I think my question's too specific, so it's not even like appropriate here, but we could talk offline, maybe Richie or Mike, about just accepting payments for our intern housing piece of our business, and also running registrations. I mean, that's the only thing that I'm still sort of unsure, and nervous about, totally psyched to be on the same platform, with housing when and if that finally happens. I'm sure it will. It's just taking a while. But that's the only thing I think sort of really on our mind, here with how we continue to do that.
We'd
Yeah.
be happy to meet, and whether it's myself or Mary Ellen from the Iris side to review what registration looks like and how that migration would work. And Richie, I know, is also available to have that chat and look through that in some significant detail.
Yeah, and Sherry, registration in particular is one of the big items that we are actively working on, and should have some good announcements in terms of functionality and enhancements and all that good stuff at our Conference Connect.
Great. Ready for those announcements, Richie. Ready for those announcements.
And Cal had a question. Can you talk about how Iris and StarRez will look like in the future? Will there be integrations or connections between the two platforms? And the second question there, what future enhancements do you see coming to the platforms regarding AI? I'm going to take both of these at the same time here. So our plan is future development will be happening in the StarRez platform. And we're working to move some of the key functionality and features in Iris over to the StarRez Conferences platform right now. So where we've found opportunities and value additions, that work is taking place to move ideas or interfaces from Iris over to StarRez. And one of the reasons that we chose StarRez as the go-forward platform is because of all of the AI functionality that we have and how that will trickle into the conference and events product. One of the examples is the email writer AI functionality, which is available on the AI introductory tier. That is available, correct me if I'm wrong, Richie, today on the conference and event side. And similarly, as we release new functionality that has a housing scope, it often also has one for conferences. So another example of this is duty rounds, where yes, we have duty rounds during the academic year where our RAs are walking the buildings, but we see something very similar on the conferences side where, again, we're walking buildings, interacting with folks and needing to record what's happening. And so because of the velocity of development and the maturity of the tech stack in terms of being able to add AI to it. That's why we are primarily focusing the development efforts onto StarRez, and why phase one of that is taking the best pieces of Iris and moving those over.
So there's a question here from Anna. What minors protections do you have in place with data? Can housing see the conference's data? Additionally, our facilities crew has been hesitant to use housekeeping functions because they don't want access to any minors' information at all, including names. Anna, this is a great question. So one piece within StarRez that we have is called category security. What category security does is allows you as an institution to put the rules in place on who should be able to see what information. So it's taking an idea of security keys a little bit further, where one team, if we use the example of names, right? One team should be able to see conference names, but another team needs to see housing names. Utilizing category security, you can almost bifurcate the system and allow the conference team to see what they need to see, while allowing the housing team to maintain what they have to see and not mix and mingle or cross-pollinate a little bit. So that's definitely one of the beauties of the StarRez system. And when it comes to security, keys and roles and things like that, there's maybe a few 100,000 possible combinations there. So you can really get as granular as you might need to. And for the facility staff, you definitely can hide those names and just let them know which building, which room needs to be taken care of.
These are great questions. Any other thoughts, comments beyond questions?
At our Conference Connect event in November, we will review not only just the registration announcements that I mentioned kind of when Sherry asked her question, but we will review our roadmap as well, so that any of our customers within our family of products can attend that Conference Connect event and get a peek at what may be coming in the short term and the long term.
And in the chat here, I've just shared another link to our conferences and events market research survey from our website. So please do take a few minutes, take the survey, and by doing so, we'll be sure that we share those results with you. If you're interested in knowing what the results are going to look like, we do have a housing survey that we recently completed. This may be of interest to you if you are in a housing department as well. So I've just shared a link with what the final report looks like for the housing survey to give you an idea of what that's looking like.
Great. And I'm also popping another link in the chat as if we didn't have one too many already. My name is Shannon McGevna. I work in marketing and events here at StarRez, and we are still sourcing program proposals for our Conference Connect. So if there's a topic that you're interested in and you want to present to the community, we would love to have you be part of one of those sessions. And I'm going to pop the link in there. Sorry for the back-to-back ones.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. Please do reach out to us if you have any questions. We're all here to answer your questions, whether they're IRIS or StarRez conferences and events related. Thanks again.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, StarRez. We appreciate you.
Anytime.
Take care, everyone.